This episode of the Didlake Difference uses AI assisted tools to support accessibility, including Spanish to English voice dubbing and lip sync adjustments. These enhancements improve clarity and inclusivity without changing the guest's original meaning or intent.
My job coach called me and said, Ivette, you got hired. They're going to call you about the administrative assistant position. They're going to send you an email with the job offer. I couldn't believe it. I went home and cried, not out of pity or sadness, but out of pride. Like, wow, I did it. If I can do it, everyone can.
This is The Didlake Difference, the show all about creating and promoting opportunities for people with disabilities. Each episode will bring you expert insights and relatable topics that ignite meaningful conversations and inspire change within our communities.
Before we get started, I just wanted to ask you how you're doing. How are you feeling today?
It's like having mixed emotions. I don't really know how to explain it. Curious, proud at the same time, but also scared because this is not something common.
Yeah. What scares you the most, do you think?
Mostly because of prejudice. When people try to use you, they limit you. When you try to open your own path, you can't because you have to keep fighting just to be able to make your way. I'm not asking for the path to be made easier for me. I'm asking to be allowed to walk, to go on my own at my own pace.
Yeah. I think this is a perfect example, just sitting here, of letting you do that, right? It's not, I know you're not asking for anybody to hold your hand and guide you. What you want is just a space to be able to exist in and to, make your own way. So I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I also have to say, it's the craziest thing in my head to hear you speaking in Spanish, but then in my head, I'm like, okay, translate, and now back into English. And I know you have that same talent too, because you're able to read lips in English and in Spanish. So talk to me a little bit about that. What is that like for you?
When I was born, I started speech therapy. My speech therapist has always helped me understand what it meant to read lips in Spanish. Of course, I learned how to speak Spanish, and that's why my diction in Spanish is very clear. People understand me really well as long as I speak slowly. But overall, I learned a lot through lip reading. When I came to the United States, understanding English was a pretty big challenge, but not impossible. Difficult, yes, but not impossible. I was able to adapt to the culture and understand English the same way I do Spanish. Sometimes I didn't understand English and I would say, wait a moment, I'm not embarrassed. I ask, wait a moment, can you repeat? Can you write it to me or text it on the phone? Or I would turn on my transcriber app and read what the person was saying. And I would respond, oh yes. Because sometimes people don't articulate their lips well, so it becomes hard for me. It is difficult for me to read lips when people don't articulate well, so lip reading is a little, but not impossible.
So talk to me a little bit about that, like just starting from the beginning, because you said you learned in school, right, where they taught you how to speak English, but that was way back then, right? But you also initially learned how to read lips in Spanish, right? So just talk to me from the very beginning, what your journey has been like.
So I wasn't born deaf, I was born hearing. When I was 3 years old, experienced medical malpractice from a doctor. Because of that doctor, I am deaf. Starting at age 3, over time I progressively lost my hearing until I was 27. I used hearing aids. I relied on those hearing aids. After 27, my ears stopped working. I already had total hearing loss and I couldn't use the hearing aids anymore. So in school, when I was in elementary school, I was living in Maracaibo, and that's where I learned how to read lips. I was studying English through the school as a special activity you paid for, an extracurricular activity, and it was an elective subject. I chose to learn English. My parents would tell me, you have to learn something different, something that can help your future. And my parents were the best. My parents were the best. They would tell me, you need to start thinking about your future. Don't think about others. Think about yourself. And along the way, I learned basic English. Hello, how are you? I'm fine. Things like that. With time, I went to university. That's how I learned, that's how I studied, and that's how I went to work with my disability. Over time, I kept progressing, improving my lip reading, my writing, my skills, all of those things. Now I have one less sense, but I have more abilities. They gave me many tools, and I take advantage of everything. Every tool they give me, I use it, I learn it, I study it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I even see that with the program that you found for this interview today, where it's something that is so innovative, something that just a regular person wouldn't think of, but you went out of your way. You found this program and you're like, let's do this, let's use this. So I think that I can definitely see how you're always constantly pushing. You use the resources that you get to the max. So I think that is incredible. And so you said that your parents told you when you were learning to speak, or when they told you to take English, they wanted you to set yourself up for a better future, right? So was your plan always to end up in the US, or what kind of, like, you were born in Venezuela, so how did you end up here and what was your plan?
No, it wasn't my plan. My plan was to keep growing, to keep studying, to do my postgraduate studies. I wanted to be big in the sense that I wanted a dignified life where I could provide for my family. I came to the United States in 2015. I had the opportunity to adapt. It was a little difficult, but even though it was different, I kept going and kept growing until I finally found Didlake. It was like, this is my opportunity, this is my door, that is the door I'm going to knock on.
I love that so much. And so you came here, and what were you doing for work? How did you end up from where you were then to at Didlake today?
I was working in a supermarket putting prices on products. Yes, it was basic. It was part-time, 4 hours, and that was it. I wanted a full-time job. I wanted a job that would allow me to support my son, my mom, and all of that. I went online and searched for jobs, and there was a section that said for people with disabilities. And I said, wait, there's an account for people with disabilities? And I saw the company Didlake. I liked the name because it was different. I went in and saw there was a position for file documentation clerk at DDI, and I applied. They called me, they interviewed me, and about a week or two later, they called me to offer me the job offer, and I accepted. I didn't care where it was located. The point was they considered me as a person. They didn't see me like, oh, poor Ivette, she's deaf. No, like a person. They interviewed me and gave me the opportunity. It was a good opportunity and I couldn't waste it.
That's where you were working. But now you work as an administrative assistant for SGE, which is a department in Didlake. So tell me about that transition. How did you end up working for SGE?
I started working at DDI. After about 6 months, I felt I needed to learn more. I wanted more responsibilities, more challenges. I didn't want to settle for less. And on the Didlake portal, several positions would appear. When I read administrative assistant, I said, I have to apply. They told me, no, you can't. It's too difficult for you. It's too much responsibility for you. You won't be able to handle that. And I said, watch me. And that's what I did. I applied. So when I stayed, I had the opportunity and I had my job coach, Evelyn. She prepared me. She guided me on what I should say and what I shouldn't say in an interview, how I had to dress. She guided me not only in the technical part, she gave me tools, confidence, the way I needed to speak. She told me, you have to be yourself. You don't have to change for others. Just be yourself. Be the difference. That helped me a lot.
So your job coach is the person that was helping you to prepare yourself for the interview, right?
For the interview. She was so amazing.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. And so that's interesting. So you work within the organization, but you also have a job coach that helps you through, like, navigate. Okay, awesome. And tell me a little bit more about your relationship together. Tell me about how they, aside from the interview, how they kind of help you within your role or.
They have different ways of connecting with the employee. For example, in my case, my current job coach is named Vivian. She usually writes to me every 1 or 2 weeks asking, is everything okay? Is anything missing? Do you need my help? Do you need to talk? She's always in contact with me. Right now, we are kind of on pause. We are still connected, but since I am doing well at work and I don't have problems, from time to time she texts me, hey, everything okay? She comes to visit me and checks in. But when I had problems at the beginning, mostly communication issues, they would go every week and ask me, is everything okay? How can I help you? She helped me with my resume to apply for my current position. She helped me organize it. She gave me ideas on how to speak, what I should say, and what I should not say. She told me not to give too much information. If they don't ask you, don't say it.
That's good advice, yeah. So the way that it seems is that you kind of set that stage. You kind of show, okay, this is where I need the support, this is where I need the guidance, and that's where they jump and they're like, okay, you need this, I'm there for you. But they're not pressuring you, they're not, they're just there to support you and advocate for you as well, right?
More than anything, they act as a guide, like a mentor and a student. They guide you and help shape the path. It's not like they demand what you have to do. No, you tell them what you want and they look for the way to help you move forward. More than anything, they are always there to advocate for you and help you with whatever you need. They take your hand and guide you along the path, but they don't tell you, you have to do this. No. What I liked most about their dynamic is that they respect who you are. They give you the opportunity to keep your own essence.
That's awesome. Yes, I think for any human being, maintaining your personal autonomy is so important. So the fact that Didlake job coaches let you do that, I think is amazing. So I want to go back to what you were saying a little bit and kind of touch on the initial point that you made that people were telling you that when you saw the Didlake job opening, you couldn't do it. It was too difficult for you. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I want to hear what that was like for you. What is it like when people have these misconceptions or these ideas that a person with a disability can't do something?
I can tell you a small anecdote. When I came to the United States, I wanted to study English. I wanted to prepare myself to have better diction, to read lips better and things like that. I was looking for where to take an English course. What hurts the most is when the person who judges you and limits you is someone you know, someone from your circle of friends, acquaintances, or family. She told me, oh, you should go to a school for the deaf because you can't. Because of your problem, you can't. I felt bad. I felt limited, like she was putting me in a box, like saying, you are deaf, you can't. And in my heart, in my mind, I said, okay, that's on her. I'm not the problem. I'm going to continue at my pace, in my way, in my time. I'm building my own path. I don't need anyone to take me to the path. I need them to let me walk so I can walk at my own pace.
Exactly. I think it is, especially when you're close to somebody, right? I think maybe they think that it's, it's fine. Like whatever words that they're saying don't affect you so deeply, but for somebody to limit you and for somebody to tell you that you can't do something it's unfair, especially because you are not defined by whatever, it's like every person is just what they are and we should be celebrated for that. We shouldn't be limited for that. So
sometimes people think they are protecting you, but they are not protecting you.
yeah.
They are hurting you because they make you believe, oh, I can't, I'm not good for that. No, we are capable even more.
Yes, exactly. You have to let people find out for themselves. Like you can't, I was like thinking the exact same thing, that sometimes people think that they're protecting you when they say, oh, no, you shouldn't try to do that. You can't do that, whatever. But that's not the case. The case is that you need to let people find out. And like you said, you can sometimes be even better than people can have imagined, But it's just a matter of letting people try. So I think that's incredibly valuable. So kind of bringing it back into the workplace a little bit, how have you handled any sort of misunderstandings or misconceptions in different situations when it comes to the workplace?
Communication is definitely a challenge. I won't deny it, but what I did learn is not to stay quiet. I ask without shame. Wait a moment. Can you repeat? Can you write it? Let me record you with my phone using the app. Communication exists in many ways, written, spoken, or visual. There are many ways to communicate. What has helped me the most is when the person truly listens to me. Not just hearing me, but listening with respect. That's what I value the most. And it's not about doing me a favor. Communication is between two or more people. It's mutual, through respect from the heart. That is communication.
Yes, I really like that. Yes, I think you have to be willing to just have those, no matter who it is that you're talking to, having conversations with an open heart and being and understanding more than just talking and wanting to be heard. I think that's very valuable. Thank you for sharing that. So can you share a moment that you felt especially proud when you've overcome a sort of challenge or obstacle in your life?
When I got the position that day, my job coach called me and said, Ivette, you got hired. They're going to call you about the administrative assistant position. They're going to send you an email with the job offer. I couldn't believe it. I went home and cried, not out of pity or sadness, but out of pride. Like, wow, I did it. If I can do it, everyone can. I am an example for others. My biggest example has always been my mom. She always told me, you can go for it, and if you can't, you will find a way.
Oh, so is that something that you want people to take away from this? Is that if you can do it, anybody can. Like, there is nothing that stops anyone aside from their own limitations, right?
Yes, because the sky is the limit. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible.
And in moments like that, when you feel like, you're being torn apart, when people are putting these limitations on you, how do you overcome that? What supports do you feel lift you up the most in those moments?
I'm someone who likes to think positive and keep moving forward. I don't let them limit me. I try to keep evolving and growing. I love to study and learn new things. Every time I see something that catches my attention on TV or in the news and I notice there's a new app or a new method, I look it up to learn what it's about. Even if it's not part of my daily life, I'm always willing to learn something new. That's where I learned that I never stop learning and never stop growing. I embrace technology. I embrace innovation. I keep moving forward. It's very important because we all deserve a second opportunity. I say second opportunity because the first one is being born. Life is the first opportunity we are given. For us, the second opportunity is getting a job, and that can be very difficult. How do people with disabilities compete with someone without a disability? It's very hard. But I don't even like to say compete because I'm not competing with anyone and no one is competing with me. We are all different. We all have abilities, some stronger than others, but we all have abilities. When someone told me that there is inclusion in every workplace, I said, inclusion? Where? Even in 2025, there are very few companies that truly respect inclusion because prejudice still exists. Nothing is difficult if we are given the opportunity. Otherwise, how do we know what a person can or cannot do if we never try?
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ivette. And thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. Your story is incredible. It's uplifting. And we were so lucky to have you on here today. So thank you so much for sharing.